You mean you weren't a born promoter? You haven't been
No,
doing this
not
since
at
birth,
all.
man?
I was a natural born introvert.
You and me both, buddy.
Yeah.
You're in good company. But welcome to Machine Shop Tech Talk, or welcome back to Machine Shop Tech Talk. If it's not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for stumbling across. In manufacturing, it is not if, but when something goes wrong, and we have conversations with problem solvers worldwide to go over the possible solutions you might need today or down the road. Today, I've got my guest, Darryl Gratix. He's the production manager at Mold and Precision Components, where he leads a team of high-performing tradespeople focused on advanced manufacturing and innovation. With over 25 years of experience in tool and mold making, CNC machining, and production leadership, he's passionate about efficiency, quality, and mentorship. Darryl is a strong advocate for the skilled trades, founding NextGenSkilledTrades Consulting to help bridge the gap between education and industry. He's committed to empowering the next generation of tradespeople and strengthening Canada's manufacturing future. And let me tell you all, I am so glad Darryl is here. We're going to dig in more on the skilled trade side of things and how he's getting active so that you can take these examples for your local communities as well, because if he can do it where he's at, you can too. Darryl, I'm so glad you're here with me today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. To your last point, if I can do this and promote the skilled trades, then anybody can.
You mean you weren't a born promoter? You haven't been
No,
doing this
not
since
at
birth,
all.
man?
I was a natural born introvert.
You and me both, buddy.
Yeah.
You're in good company. But here we are on video.
Yeah.
So just saying, people. Right now, there's a lot of conversation in North America about getting more of our youth into the trades. And I'm really curious about what even had you start this consulting agency. Like, what need is it serving? Are you trying to help get more people in?
Do you want the long answer or the short answer?
Give me the long story, man. I want to know the
Yeah.
mission behind this.
Well, as we get into our career and grow older, especially in the trades, maybe 5 years ago or so, it really was weighing on my mind that, I really need to make sure I'm investing in training the next generation of tool and die, mold makers, machinists. And then that's kind of grown into, I think it was about 3 years ago, when I joined the OEAP Precision Skills Committee in Simcoe County, which OEAP is the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Since then, it's really been weighing heavily on my heart that not only do I need to train, but I need to be helping attract the next generation into the skilled trades. Because as most people know what a carpenter, electrician, plumber do. What percentage of the population knows what a machinist, tool and die maker, a mold maker, or a millwright do, right? There's so many things that we're working on in terms of educating students, parents, guidance counselors, teachers, and that's what's really motivated me to dig into this and start doing what I could to promote the skilled trades.
I mean, it's such an important thing. Like you said, manufacturing machining happens behind brick walls that you can't see. You can't drive down the road or call one into your house to see what that trade does. In the case of like a plumber or construction or someone like that,
Yeah.
right? And it's interesting. I had Tim Wong, who's out of Alberta, he's been going around to his local high schools there. And he's like, I've been going to trades focused programs to talk to them about who a machinist is. And it's about 2 out of every 500 students he talks to actually knows what a machinist does.
Yeah.
And these are people in auto mechanics and construction and welding. These are very related fields, and they've got no clue.
Yeah.
So you founded Next Gen Skilled Trades. What have you been able to accomplish with that?
I'm aging myself here, but a year ago today, I was on 0 social media platforms. I was the old school. I don't need to be on there. I don't need to see what everyone that I went to high school with is doing or seeing, all the highlights of everyone's lives. But I think it was about a year ago, June, when I joined LinkedIn for the purpose of trying to promote MPC. So I figured, well, if I'm going to get on there for work, I better start a personal account and start practicing in case I mess up, and then at least it's on my account and not the work account. Saw some articles or posts on skilled trades and made some comments and got some really good feedback, and it's kind of taken off from there. So then in August, I started an Instagram and Facebook account. Those haven't taken off as much, but the LinkedIn account has really, really taken off. In September, I added my self to our local school boards. You have to apply to get onto a list to go in and present at schools, and
Yeah.
also to get field trips to come out to MPCs so we can show them what a modern injection molding facility looks like. Uh,
Oh,
so
cool.
when was that? December, I went to a high school, talked to 4 different grade 10 careers classes about the skilled trades, about what we do, and tried to promote it. We've had a few tours come through with high school guidance counselors at MPC, and they're always blown away by. We have 2 buildings at MPC. Our newer building, we've only been in for 3 years, so it's very modern, bright, clean. We get lots of great feedback, lots of comments like from different suppliers who've been to injection molding facilities all over the world who say, normally we only see this kind of thing in Europe, which is great.
Mm.
Actually, today we had a tour from his name's Yudo Matsura, who we've done some projects with them on one of their machines. It's called the Lumex. It's the hybrid, like
Okay.
3D metal printing and a milling machine. So he
Those
was,
are really cool
yeah,
machines.
he was over from Japan, visiting a bunch of different companies, and so he came through and same thing. He was super impressed with our facility. So yeah, it's great to get as many people through there as we can to show them what modern manufacturing looks like.
Well, and getting the guidance counselors, the ones advising students
Yeah.
on opportunities, getting to shift their mindset. Because I'm sure you hear it all the time because you've been in machining a while, but like everyone's still stuck on the, oh, we all work in dark, dirty
Yeah,
dungeons
exactly.
mindset. So to bring them into this like world-class facility that they're only seeing the counterparts maybe in Europe, like that is a huge testament to the work you've done at NPC, but so cool that these guidance counselors get to see something new like that too.
Yeah. And as I mentioned to you before, you never know what tour with a group of 12 or one person is going to turn into. So a year ago, our tour of 12
Yeah.
guidance counselors this year turned into a skilled trades night at one of the high schools with over 20 different
Mhm.
tables of vendors and over 300 students who attended. And I was there with MPC. And then partway through, I thought I recognized the lady who was organizing it, and when I went up and talked to her, yeah, she was on our tour last year, and it was the tour last year that inspired her to have this skilled trades night at her high school. So, that was nice,
That,
a bit of validation or reward to
yeah.
see the time you're putting in paying off.
I mean, you had those counselors out. One of them got inspired to do a skilled trades night, and that one person getting inspired led to you impacting more than 300 students, dude.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And you're one man on a mission.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I mean, that's great
Yeah.
results.
Yeah, once you get that snowball rolling, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and hopefully soon it'll be out of control and we'll be spreading the rumor about skilled trades to high schools all over the place.
Yeah.
And more than 2% of the population will know what a machinist or a mold maker, a tool and die maker does for their living.
I'm not dating now. I've got a great lady in my life and we've got a lovely family. But even when I was dating, I would be like, oh, I'm a machinist, a mechanic.
Yeah.
No, not the same thing. So I love that you're out there making a difference so that more people get aware of what machining actually is. And so they can explore it as a career.
Yeah.
I got into machining like 20 something years ago, man. It's been a lot of fun. I've gone a lot of cool places and made
Yeah.
parts of my city and parts that go into like all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, and that's one of the there's so many things regarding the perception of our trades that we're trying to change. One of the big ones is you mentioned that, the perception is we work in these dark, dingy, dirty places and they're dangerous. Another one is,
Yeah.
once let's say you become a machinist, that's what you're doing for the rest of your life. We're a tool and die or mold maker, which is, you and I both know, is nothing further from the truth, right? We try and lead by example at MPC. We've got guys in design and engineering who've started out as machinists and now they've worked their way
Oh,
up.
cool.
Myself, I started on the machines and then moved up to CNC supervisor, manager, tool room manager for 5 years, and now I'm in the production manager role. So there's
Yeah.
tons of growth opportunities for your career when you have that basis as a tradesperson.
Oh, 100%. And obviously we're partial to machining. It's what we both
Yeah.
share as a background. you could say that about a few different trades too. The
No,
thing
for
that you
sure.
can't really say that about, and no hate to dental hygienists, but look, you go to school to be a dental hygienist, you're a dental hygienist for the rest of your life. And that's okay. They're a
Yeah.
valuable role. I love my dental hygienist. She's fantastic. But unless she goes back to be a dentist, she's got to go spend 8 years as a dentist now in school. Like, she doesn't get to work her way through that industry.
Yeah, well, Arthur, I think I'm going to leave that one alone. I'll let you handle all the hate mail from the dental hygienists out there that are watching.
And when we're talking about hate mail, probably already in the comments telling me that you work in a dark, dingy shop. Yes, I understand. There are still machine
Yeah.
shops out there that are dark and dingy. We are working hard to transform that. I've seen many, especially in the last 5 years, that have changed their lights, updated their floor plan, done all kinds of crazy stuff. But yes, your dirty shop still exists. We're not saying you don't exist, okay? I want to go back actually to what you were talking about. You didn't do social media until June last year?
Yeah,
That was
that's correct.
your big entry? So, okay.
Yep.
Now, I gotta ask, it hasn't even been a year yet.
Yeah.
Are you glad you made the switch and started posting more?
Posting, not posting more, posting. Yes. Started
Posting,
posting,
period. Sorry, you're right.
Yes. Yeah.
You went from nothing to creating accounts to now being actively creating content and engaging pieces on the internet. So
yeah, that's an easy answer. I'm 100% glad that I did, especially with LinkedIn. I keep posting and saying, I've made more contacts in the last year on LinkedIn than I did the first, whatever, 27, 28 years of my career. Yeah, and there's so many great people out there. A month ago, I was fortunate enough to go down to a plastic show in Chicago and got to meet a bunch of people that I've been connecting with on LinkedIn in person. Yeah, so it's been awesome. Definitely no regrets there. Yeah.
I didn't think there were. It was a
No.
little facetious of me, right? Like, I kind of didn't think you did. I mean, it's how we actually connected, because I think we connected last year after you first got on. It wasn't long after that, because I was like, he's in Ontario and he's advocating for the trades. I need to connect to this human being because I want to surround myself with advocates for the trades. So you had like no social media before.
No,
I don't
not even a Facebook account. No.
And now you're out there inspiring people, myself included. I love the stuff that you get out to. Anyone listening to us or watching us, like, if you don't follow Darryl yet, I'll drop his links down below so you can. He puts out great stuff, especially if you're in the mold industry or you're a skilled trades advocate. You got to connect with this guy because he's got some good stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's it's ironic because now I would say I'm borderline addicted to LinkedIn, if not fully addicted. But it's been once you see the use for something, I mean, what better way is there to connect or get the word out on the skilled trades, right? I don't know when or if I'll get there, but apparently those short how-to videos on YouTube and TikTok, the kids are watching those like crazy.
Definitely need to. I think it would be a good addition to inspire young minds. That comes from a biased point of view. I do clip up this show for the stuff that I think is interesting, and then I do put it on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook Reels, because I'm trying to, hey, maybe you'll accidentally see this and be like, oh, I'm curious now. So,
and how do you find the, what are the responses on TikTok for that? Or
mine are, I think, if I did more cutting tool videos, more like shop floor stuff, I would get better traction on TikTok. Conversational stuff, a video might see 100 views, it might see 1,200 views. Same on Instagram's about the same. Facebook is even less. I don't find much manufacturing community on Facebook.
No, and the main reason that I had got on Facebook and Instagram was a suggestion from someone about being able to reach more parents and students, like parents on Facebook mostly, and then students more on Instagram. That was where that suggestion came from. Yeah, there's not a lot of connection there with other people in manufacturing.
No, usually my interactions on those platforms come from people I'm already connected to on LinkedIn, and they are also on those platforms trying to do like we're doing. And then they interact with it and I interact with their stuff. And then we're trying to help each other move forward that way. The good news is the algorithm's slowly changing for how they recommend stuff. So the more that there is out there, the better the chance someone's going to come by it. And if they stay and watch long enough, there's a better chance they'll be shown more. YouTube's, well, technically TikTok started all of that way back on the way they refer videos through their algorithms. And now that's moving through YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So the Gary Vee and a few other people have dubbed it like the death of the follower, because it's more context based now and less follower based. And I've seen a few where they've made like new accounts with like no followers, but then still put out some really great content. And they got like, 10,000 views, 500,000 views, like all these crazy numbers. Yeah. So it's just about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah. If you had mentioned all that to me a year ago, I would have had no idea what you were talking about. But I understand.
But now you're a seasoned pro.
Yeah. Well, another thing that kind of ties into that is there's only so much time in the day. I would love to have a bunch of how-to videos for work. So we've got so much going on between machining, robotics, injection molding, but it's, I just don't have enough time in the day to go around and shoot all that video. So just an interesting project that just came about last week that I'm working on is we do a lot of work with our local college here in Barrie, Georgian College. So I went to last week at night, they had a digital kind of content creation night with all their graduating students. So I went around and met them all. And then by the time I got to the last couple students, I was thinking, wonder a great project would be if I could get them to come in and start shooting a bunch of those videos I want to take, right? It's a good real life project for them. So that might be something that's coming about in the future. So you might start seeing a bunch of shorts coming out of MPC. Yeah.
I like that. And it's kind of a good place to start tying up our conversation here. But that's a really smart way, because I've recommended to machine shops before to reach out to like engineering schools, especially back for the ones that are still digitizing old prints and stuff like that, and making 3D models out of them. I was like, guys, reach out to your schools. They're looking for real world tests, like applications. And you can literally get a student for the semester, and all they'll do is make you 3D models to get real world experience reading blueprints and making models. Yeah, you got to have someone check it. But I never thought that's a smart thing, man. I hope to see how that goes. Yeah. You'll have to keep me updated.
But yeah, if we're getting close to the end, could I say one last thing?
Yes, sir.
If there's anyone out there watching and you're in the manufacturing world, specifically machining, if there's one thing that you could do to help us get the word out and help grow our trade, is get involved with your local colleges, high schools. For Georgian College in Barrie, they have what's called the PAC committee, Program Advisory Committee. So we're involved with precision skills, mechanical engineering. We're working with other colleges in creating scientific molding courses. So to help grow our trade and attract the next generation, we can't lean on government. We've got to get out there and do it ourselves. So get involved.
That's a great place to wrap up, Darryl. I'm so glad you were here. And to everyone listening, I mean, if you made it this far, one, take action on what Darryl just said. You can make a difference. He joined social media to help bring more awareness to everything he's up to. You can do this too. You don't have to be special. I promise you, I fail all the time. It's okay. You just got to get out there, get messy, and advocate for the trades that you love. Finish it off to all my machining friends. Keep your spindles turning and earning.